So welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Soraya Aldana, and I'm so excited that you are here today because today we are going to be talking about how to design a life that you love. Have you found yourself that maybe you are working and hustling and going for the things that you want, but that you cannot seem to be able to get to them? Maybe there's so the busyness, right? As entrepreneur, you are going for the things that you want to create, going for the things that you think that are important in life. Yet there might be some of the things that might be falling through the sidelines. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's the important things of life. Maybe it's the things that you want to accomplish. Maybe it's your purpose. Maybe are those things that you know that God has in store for you that you have not tapped into them yet. Well, if that is you, you are in the right place, because today we are working and we are talking about how you can design that life that you love. So what is it that it means to design a life that you love? Well, it means life in your own terms. So maybe things are different for you. What is it that you want? What do you want to create? What do you want to see in your personal life, in your personal relationships, for your family, for your future, for your legacy, for your contribution, for the different things and areas and aspects of life? Yet you might be finding that even though those are things different, the principles are the same. The elements are the same, like the joy, the fulfillment, the enjoyment of life, right? The happiness. And we might have different versions of what that looks like personally, but the concepts are the same. That's what we're talking about. What are the elements that you can bring to your life that are not present today? So I would love to hear from you. Like, okay, put it in comments. What is it that is present that in your life today is not present that you would love to see happen? Maybe it's a dream that you have. Maybe it's growing your business. Maybe it's doing something as well that will help you move the needle to the things that you want to accomplish, right? So, and here is the one principle about designing a life that you love. It does not happen by default. I don't know if you've noticed that life has probably more challenges than you thought at the beginning, or when you were in your teens or your early 20s, right? And you said, well, there's a lot of things that need to be mapped out, things that you want to figure out for your life, for your world. And that's what we're talking about. So there is no big bang, I say. It's not like one day you're going to land in the relationship of your dreams and everything is perfect. You're going to land in the success in your business and everything is perfect. Your family is just going to do everything and your children are just going to obey you 100%. There is no such a thing. Life is a journey of you constructing and building every day. Can you see that? Give me an amen. Put it in the comments. Let me know. Yes, I can see that. I can see that for my life, because that is critical, that we see what is it for me that I am creating and what is it that I want to create. So today I want to inspire you. My purpose is to inspire you, and it is to motivate you so that you can grab onto the things, so that you are clear, so that I can put in your awareness, in your radar, things that maybe are there, but that you have not taken action towards. Yes, thank you, Marisol. We got you, girl. So it's what are those things that I want to create for my life? What are things that are not happening today? What is a life that I love, right? And what is, again, we were saying, what does that look like? Is it I want to travel more? Is it that I want to take care of my health more? Is it that I want to take care of somebody that I love? Is it that I want to contribute to an X cause? I work with survivors of human trafficking. I'm a member of the board of an organization that supports them, and we support 3 shelters with children 5 ages and up. So that might be important to me. What is important to you? What is important to you to create in your life? Besides the busyness, what's important? Besides what you're doing 80% of the time right now, what is consuming 80% of the time for your life? Is it things that you're just so joyful to do every day in and day out? Or what is it that you're doing? Because that is so critical that we understand and that we get to see. The things that we are creating are the seeds that you're planting today, that 80% of the time that you're working on, what are you working so that it's going to be the tomorrow. Your tomorrow is created by the 80% of the things that you do today. Have you realized that? Have you noticed that? that 80% of the time that you're taking is building your life tomorrow, your life next year, the seeds that you're planting, the seeds that whatever you're doing in your business, whatever you're doing in your family, for your health, for yourself, that is what is going to be determining how you're going to live life tomorrow. You're preparing today. Those are the building blocks. How you spend your time, right? And how are you doing things is how you are going to be reaping that tomorrow. So it is critical that today, no matter where you are in your life, my invitation, I am coming here to you with Sachi that wants to butt in to let you know that there is a way for you to do things differently if you're not entirely excited about where your life is right now. And these are questions that you may want to ask yourself. How are my relationships, the quality of my relationships? The quality of the relationships of the people that I love the most in my inner circle. Who are these people? And what is the quality that we have? Is it a significant other? Is it a family member? Is it a parent? Is it a child? Who is it that is, it's part of your journey that may be looking like the way that you're directing your life may be not 100%. What about your health, right? What about your future? What about the important things of life? So that is what we're taking into account. And that's what I want to make an impression. I want to impress on you that you get to change that. If you are not pleased, if you're not happy with that, if you're not totally fulfilled and excited about those things, well, today you get to say, what if I could do things differently? What would it look like? And that is the purpose of us being here together. So we are going to go then, what is the number one step? What is the one thing that you can do at this point to design a life that you love? And the first step, the most important step of all, is because it's the first step, is giving yourself permission. Giving yourself permission to go for bigger things. Giving yourself permission to say, you know what, I want to dream bigger. Maybe I have reached a level of success, whatever that means for you. Maybe it's your business. Maybe you're successful in your relationships. Maybe it's successful in your health, in your joy, right? But what about the other areas? So you want to look at that and say, hey, where am I right now? And would I give myself permission? How much joy would I allow in my life? How much love would I allow in my life? And if I'm not having it, where am I putting a stop? Where am I saying, okay, I want all those things to come, but stop. No, don't get too close, because we have an internal conflict that is not allowing us to get to those things, right? I want to be a millionaire. However, I don't give myself permission to go past a certain amount. Why? Because I have a programming that says that money is evil, or that money is not really what it's meant to do, or that you couldn't do that because X or Y or Z. Can you see that? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in your comments and say, hey, I can see that for you. Yes, yes, no, yes. Okay, I'd love to hear from you. So you get to see what are the things where I'm not giving myself permission. Could I give myself permission to enjoy a deeper relationship with my significant other? Would I do that? Would I allow for more peace of mind? Would I allow for me sleeping better at night? How many of us cannot sleep a whole night? I know, and I bump into so many people that says, you know what, I can't sleep. I go to bed and it's intermittent sleeping is what I have. It's not intermittent fasting. It's intermittent sleeping. I sleep here and there, but I'm awake, or this is in my mind, or this concerns me, or this. Yes, hashtag yes me, right? So you want to see, okay, so the first step is giving yourself permission and saying, okay, I'm going to consciously allow myself to do something different. I am consciously going to allow myself to be uncomfortable. How many of us are ready to be uncomfortable? You're ready to be uncomfortable? Like, no, I don't want to cross what I call when I work with clients and they're like, Soraya, take me to my Z. I am on my A. I have this knot. I don't know how to go to my Z. So I said, okay, are you ready to cross the uncomfortability bridge, as I call it? Because it's going to be uncomfortable, right? You've been used to doing things a certain way. But have you realized, how many of us, have you realized that you have like I call it a rubber band effect? you're like, okay, my God, I want to do that. I have this determination. It is the end of the year. I have my New Year's resolutions and I want to go for all those amazing things. And yes, I'm going, right? And I'm starting the gym every day. But then what do we see? And 2 months later, the gym is like at the beginning of the year, you got to park 2 blocks away from Egypt to get to the gym. But now it's like you can get almost access next to the entrance, right? Or maybe you're not even going. So what happens is what I call the rubber band effect. It's like you go run, 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 but there's a rubber band around you that you don't notice, that is invisible, that has to do with your programming, that has you back, where you're like, no, but wait a minute, where are you going? Why are you doing that? Why? No, you can't do that. And it gives you all the reasons. Have you noticed the internal dialogue that tells you that you cannot do this X, Y, or Z? Yes? Give me a yes. Give me a no. But let me know, because I want to hear where you are. I want to understand if this is you. Yes, right? Is it internal dialogue that says, no, you cannot, you're not worth it. This is not perfect enough. You're not good enough. You're not pretty enough. You're not fun enough. You're not smart enough. You're not talented enough. You're not adequate enough. Whatever we say that after that is what is going to determine, right? When you say, I am not blank, I am not good enough, I am not this, then guess what? You're determining how you're going to live life. You're declaring how your life is. And that is my invitation to change. But how do you change it if you don't know it, right? Well, that's what we're here for. But can you see how these things are at play? Because this is critical that we know. So what is that you do? Number one, you give yourself permission. And that is you being able to do things differently, doing things that you have not done, going out of your way. Because what happens is you and I have been accustomed to be in what we call a comfort zone. You know what the comfort zone is? It's that place where it's not really comfortable most times, but it is comfortable to you because it's familiar, because it's what you know to do. And that's your go-to, you resort to. The rubber band brings you here. But however uncomfortable, right? Let me use this example, which is a very bad example, but it illustrates so well the point. A woman that gets beaten up in a relationship, and she's got children, right? And she says, well, I know that this is, and I don't enjoy it. Certainly I don't like it. It's all this chaos, but I won't leave. So that's the comfort zone, is I'll stay because I have the certainty that my children at least have something, right? So it's okay, but I won't leave. But so it's not comfortable, but that's a comfort zone in an uncomfortable spot. Can you see that? You get to ask yourself, where in my life am I doing that? How much joy am I allowing today? How much fun am I allowing today? Am I working, busy, right? And I know that might not be for you, but then look at the other. How much pleasure am I allowing in my life? How much giving, how much growing, how much whatever it is for you, am I allowing, and can I allow? And what is holding me back? What is stopping me to say, no, don't go to the next level. No, you stay here. Can you see that at play? Because when you do that as a first realization, then you can change. And when you're willing to say, I'm done being here. I am done being in this space where I am not excited about life, where I'm not excited about my circumstances. Can you change your circumstances? Can you change the weather, the economy, the recession, the conversations, the this and the that? Can you change that? Can you change your spouse? Can you change your child? Can you do that? Let me know, right? The answer is a big fat no. But what is it that you can change about you? You can change how you're going to handle things. You can change how you're going to show up. You can change how you manage your emotions at any given time. Is that right? Can you see that? Let me know, give me a thumbs up. Give me a yes, I can see that, Soraya. Because thank you. Because that is what is moving the needle if you want to go design that life that you love. Okay. So what is the next point? Okay. So number 2 is you want to create a new identity. And what does that mean? Today, you have a programming that comes from your upbringing mostly, and then from the decisions that you made and the different thought process that took you there. But from your upbringing, you have already, by the age, you know that by the age that you're 7 years old, you've already programmed a lot of your life, how you're going to live it. Your financial situation, your romantic situation, how you're going to live life, where you're going to go. It's already mapped out for you based on 3 things in your bringing. And you know what they are? They are what you saw your parents, your caretakers do with things about life, do relationships, do money, do God, do family, do the struggling moments, do the whatever chaos or not was going on in your life. So that's mapped out for you. Number 2, what you heard your parents about you, certainly, about others, about the world, about other people, about money, right? So all of those things, you're being wired for that. And number 3, what do you experience? What do you experience? And I remember I was 9 years old, and I remember being with my dad. My dad had left when I was very little, so I would see him on the weekends. You know, the weekend parent. And when I saw him one time, I was 9 years old. I was so crazy about watches, and I wanted to watch, and I wanted to watch, and I remember being at this, constantly telling my dad that I wanted to get a watch. And I was like, Daddy, when are you going to buy me a watch? Daddy, when are you going to buy me a watch? And you know what his answer was? Oh, whenever I win the lottery without buying a ticket. That was his go-to answer. So you can only figure out really where the chances of me getting a new watch. Why? A watch, period. I didn't have a watch. So, and then we were this one time at this store. It was like a JCPenney, if you will. And they had, you know, that shelf where they have the watches and the things. And I came, and I was 9. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to watch. And I saw a Mickey Mouse watch. And I came and I said, Daddy, would you buy me this watch? It's so beautiful. And all of these things. And I finally convinced him. And he said, well, the only way I can do that is if they would change my check, if they would cash my check, because he had just gotten his paycheck. And he said, if they cash my check, I'll buy it for you. Well, I went and I moved everything, heaven and earth, and I convinced the salesperson right there at that store to go cash my daddy's check so that I could buy that watch. And he said yes. So you can only imagine the excitement that I have. And then he went, but then there was a problem, talked to the supervisor, and then the supervisor came back and he said, no, they're sorry. We're so sorry. We cannot cash your check. And that was the end of me asking for watches. But what I'm telling you is the experience that I had, and the experience that I received is that good things are not for me. And that's how I grew up. And that's what have manifested throughout my life. It's like, good things are not for me. Good things are not for me. And the question for you is like, what are those things that are being registered through what you saw, through what you heard, through what you experienced, that are not allowing you today to live certain areas of your life, or you go to your next level in certain areas of your life, because there is a programming. Can you see that? Yes. So what is that you want? Is you want to give yourself permission. Number 2, you want to create a new identity, because right now you have a programming that says that this is you. This is the person that does this, right? This is you, the one that does relationships this way. For example, if you were abused, if you were somehow molested, sexually abused, the probabilities of you enjoying a sexual life with a loving partner are very different than somebody that would not have a situation like that. So even though you may want to, there's like a stop, there's a hold. I work with survivors of human trafficking, right? As I mentioned. So I understand where a lot of these girls are coming from, and boys. And what is it that, where is the stop? Where is the chokehold there that is not allowing you? So you get to see, oh my gosh, maybe I need to change my programming. Because the person, if you can imagine, if you're there to dream, which is my third point, is there to dream big. If you dare to dream and say, hey, what are the things that you want? And I would invite you to write this down. What are some of the things that you want to do? Again, maybe there are things in your life that are already happening, but where are the other ones that are not? What are the things that you have not accomplished? If you checked out from the planet today, would you give yourself a 5-star review of your life? Or 4, or 3, 2? You definitely need to talk to me, right? If you are not giving yourself a 5, And that's in the general descriptions. And I know that we could have this constant journey. However, if you're not intentional, however, if you're not clear on where you're going, guess what? You might not get there. So you want to dream big in the areas where you say, you know what, I want more success. And what does that look like? What does more success would look like for you? What are the things that, what would a juicy, sexy relationship, and that is amazingly fulfillment, what would that look like for you? Are you clear on that? What would your relationship with your children is going to look like? There's people that I know that are just kind of like rearing them. It's like, are you turning 18 yet? Are you turning 18 yet? And I know, for example, my uncle had 4 children, and he dedicated his life. He was a hard worker, and he's a very successful entrepreneur, but you know what? He made it a purpose to keep his family fun and united. And my uncle is turning 75 years old this year. And guess what? We're planning with my cousins, we're planning a surprise birthday party, because I am honoring my own mother, which is turned over 80. So we're doing this whole celebration. But the point that I'm trying to make is that they still travel together every Christmas, every birthday, everything. It doesn't matter where everybody's located in different places. They come together and they enjoy. And now they're in in the generation with their own children, and they're together because that was his intention. So what is your intention for your life? What are the dreams that you want to have? What are the things that you're not fulfilling right now for you? And what is a chokehold? Because a chokehold is the identity. It's the identity that you have right now that says, well, I couldn't do that. Or who am I, right? Those dialogues, the internal dialogue. Where am I going? What am I doing? Can you see that? Let me know if you can see that. Because this is critical that you see today. How am I doing life? And what I'm doing here is I'm holding up the mirror for you so that you can see, how do I live life? Yes, I can see that. Thank you. So how do you live life? How do you do relationships? How do you do money? How do you do giving? How do you do helping others? How do you do your health? How do you do your fun? How do you do your environment, the places where you live? How's your car? How's your personal spaces? Are you tolerating messiness? Are you tolerating disrespect? So there's all these components that you get to see. How am I living life? Is this really the same journey that I want to go on? Because I say that life is like you're on this highway, right? Because this is where you play, this is where life threw you. Maybe you had other desires, maybe you had other dreams, maybe you have other things that you wanted to do. But guess what? There came a point that you had to switch those dreams for a life that maybe was not of your choosing. Maybe something happened, maybe life threw you a curveball. And now you're like in this place and you're like, okay, I wish I could go. And then that I see my dreams going there. I see my purpose going there, but I am here because now it's like responsibility following me, or like what, for whatever reason, I am on this line. Can you see that? Yes. So I'm inviting you to say, you know what if you could craft an exit? What if you could do something different? And today choosing, because that's number 4, is you choosing, giving yourself permission, right? And creating a new identity, dreaming big, and you choosing, going for that and taking that action. Because without action, everything stays in a dream. Everything stays here, right? Like, oh yeah, one day that will happen. And we go back to the point where I was saying, it doesn't happen by default. It happens by design. There's no big bang. It happens by you taking action, by you being aware, by you seeing it, by you dreaming it, by you saying, I want that. I'm going to go, like you have done it in other things. What was one thing that you were so determined to go get that you made it happen? Maybe you didn't have the resources. Maybe you didn't have a way. Maybe it seemed impossible. Yes. But guess what? You made it happen. Is that right? You get to see, how did I make it happen? Well, it was a point in that journey where I made a decision, because decision is powerful. And you can decide now, today. There was a man by the name of Clement Stones, which was, have you read the book Think and Grow Rich? Well, Clement Stones was a personal friend of Napoleon Hill, and he had a saying. He was one of the first billionaires, and he had a phrase that he would use every day in and out. And you know what that phrase was? Do it now. He lived in a skyscraper, in a high rise, in a high is the floor. And he had a little contest with him that whenever he got in the elevator and he went down, he would say it 100 times. So he said in his mind 100 times before that elevator hit the lobby. Do it now, 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 do it now. So my invitation for you is for you to look at these things. Because I told you I was going to give you tools. Am I giving you tools? You can tell me. Let me know if this is serving you. Hacks. This is a hack. It's like, okay, do it now. What do I need to do now? Not tomorrow, no next year, not 2024, not like right now. Life is now. There's a song, right, that says the future is now and we're already late. So for you to make those dreams, what do you need to do now? Who do you need to talk to now? Who do you need to restore a relationship now? Who do you need to forgive now? What actions do you need to take now so that tomorrow you can be doing other kind of things? What are the 80% of the things that you're doing now that are taking your time? And that you're like, oh, I'm not really happy about that. These are the seeds that you're planting. So what decisions would you need to make now to crop those things, to delegate those things, to eliminate those things, and focus on the things that are going to take you where you want to go? What things would you need to change about your identity? I had an identity about myself that I was broken, right? Like my dad, like I was not good enough, and my dad left because I was not good enough, because I was not pretty enough, I was not funny enough. There was a foundational problem with me. That's what I'm thinking at the age of 7, 8, 9 years old, right? So all that programming then takes me to behave differently. It's, yeah, very interesting ideas, and it's making me think a lot. It's exactly what this is for you to take a hold of your life, because nobody's going to come to the rescue if you don't start doing it. If you don't say, okay, what do I need to do now for me to go live that life? What are the things that I need to shave off? What are the things that I need to change? And or am I the type of person that looks around and says, okay, it's not my doing, it's them. I'm in a relationship, but it's them. They need to change. I know I was in one where I said, well, he needs to change first before I do anything, because he's the one with the problem. Sounds familiar? So what if you start changing you now and being in such a way that somebody else will want to change as a result of how you're showing up? And that's the concept of enrollment. Okay, you're enrolling when you're showing up in such a way that somebody else takes a committed action towards you because of how you're showing up. What if it started with you, right? I work with couples on the brink of divorce, and we turned that around in 3 days. And you know what is one of the things that, like, why is that possible? Because people are like, that's impossible. Well, not in my world. I know, according to the couples that I work with, that right now I have an invitation to, I work with a couple and now an invitation to fly to Mexico City. They're flying me to work with a group of couples because they see that it is possible. But the thing is that nobody teaches you how to be happy, right? Nobody teaches you how to stay married. Like, we know the what's, but we don't know the how's. Nobody teaches you how to raise children. Anybody? You may amen. Nobody teaches you how to manage money, and nobody teaches you how to have successful relationships. This stuff is not taught in school. This stuff is, unless your parents like sat you down or through what you saw, what you heard, what you experienced, you understood how. You don't know how. I didn't know how, and I went through a sour divorce as a very result of that. Why? Because I did not know how to change the conversation, how to communicate better, how to not get angry, how not to slam doors, right? And how not to be disrespectful. I mean, I know that why, but how do you not, when you're feeling a lot of the heat, but you don't know how, right? So this is why I'm doing this. And this is why I am so excited that you said yes to just come and join me in this short Lunch and Learn, because I want to share with you the tips on how you can do this. Can you see this? So what are the things that I would need to change in my relationship? I remember being with my ex now, and I was so mad at him. And I had a long list of things that he was not doing right. And we were driving on the highway, and we had somebody in the back. And I dared ask him, and I said, I was so frustrated. And I said, let me ask you something. How much responsibility, how much fault, that is actually, I didn't, my language is different then. How much fault do you think I have in the problems that we have in the relationship. Now, I am having a conversation with myself, and I am saying, surely this man is going to finally own up to all his mistakes, all the things that he's doing wrong. And of course, he's going to say that he is to blame 90%. And I am, of course, a 10%, right? Because I mean, I have to have some skin here, right? Like yeah, probably I'm doing something. Probably I'm doing something that's not working. To my amusement, he turns around and he kind of mumbles like 90%. Like, what? He's like, no, 90%. I'm like, did you just say 90%? Like, my eyes were as big as two CDs, if you remember where they are, right? And I'm looking at him bewildered. I'm about to pin him to the wall, except that there's somebody in the back seat. And I'm thinking, what the nerve? Like, can you believe the nerve of this guy saying that I am the one that is at fault here? And I was so mad. I was so ticked off. I didn't get out the car just because I was riding on a highway. Otherwise, I would have. And I'm not saying that's right. I'm saying that's how I used to operate. And I left him. I walked out in a restaurant on him in New York. And I did the same thing in Buenos Aires, Argentina. And I did the same thing. And I left him hanging in a dinner with his clients in Singapore because I was just too mad and angry and other things that I could tell you. But that's not really where this is going. But I am opening here my heart to tell you, I know what it is. I know where it is to be thinking that it's everybody out there. Is the people that did this. Is my parents that did this and they hurt me. And my parents that did not do this and they fractured something about me, and my ex and somebody else and my mom and my child and my significant others. There's always somebody that we can point fingers. But if you're here today, as I wrap this up, and then I'm going to go for a Q&A, is as you're here today, you get to ask, how am I showing up in life that I'm getting the results that I have? What is it that I'm doing? How am I being that has me these results, that pushes away people, that people don't want to be with me, that love cannot get close to me, that money just runs away, that my emotions are all over the place, that I am constantly angry, that I am constantly in anxiety, that I am constantly frustrated, that I am, right? So you get to ask yourself, like, how am I being? Because if you're going to design a life that you love, guess what? It starts with you in taking personal responsibility. And I define responsibility as responsibility, the ability that you have to respond, because at the end of the day, you are 100% responsible of how you're going to live life. Okay, so I'm so glad that you're here. And before I open it up for a Q&A, I want to sum it up. What is it that we talked about today? We talked about you giving yourself permission to be happy. You saying, okay, yes, I am going to allow for more joy, more fun, more love. I'm going to allow for God to shine in, and I'm going to open that window so that I can live the life that I've already been destined to live. And if I'm not living it, it's not up to others. It's because, right, moi, this person is making choices. Number two is you creating a new identity, right? Like, who do you need to be? Who is that person that today is not having those things? The person, if you can imagine yourself in the picture, that person that enjoys that juicy relationship, that enjoys that traveling, that has the financial freedom, like, how does that person operate? What do they think, right? And then it's like me being here. Okay. Number three is you also dreaming big, right? We said dreaming big and going for those dreams, and how it's like, man, I'm going to give myself permission to dream. And number four is you making a decision and doing it now, because the reality is that, you know, your life and mine, it look like this, like a sand clock. And when you see that there's more sand at the bottom than at the top, you want to make choices that are different, unless you're good the way that you're going in that journey and that ramp, right? Or you can say, you know what, I can create a ramp and let me get out of here. And let's go for a life that I can love. Let's go for the relationship that I can love. Let's go for the financial freedom. Let's go for the things I want to create in this world, for the business I want to do. And you know what? My invitation is that you do that. And I would love to, if you want to, I would love to be part of that journey if you want to. And you can do that by you simply saying, #yes me. I want to do something different with my tomorrows, with my next month, within 3, 6, 12 months. Where do I want to be? Because I don't want to be in the same place where I am right now, right? So if that is you, well, I want to invite you to do something very simple, which is make a decision that you're going to do something now. Do it now. Make a decision that you can do something else for you, that you want to do something for you. And I am posting a link where you can book a call. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about where you are. What is it that you want to create? Where is it that you're going? What are the dreams that you have not fulfilled? And you saying, you know what? #yes me. Maybe I need help. Maybe if I knew how to do it, I would have been there myself. Can you see that? Would you have been there already? Right? If I knew what I know now, I would not have gone through divorce. And when we're working with the couples, I can help and do that. When I'm working with somebody that is in a very low point and they come and they fly in or they fly me out and we change their lives in 2 days, is because there are practical tools. There's applications. There's things that you're doing that you need to stop doing in your life. There are things that you're not doing that you will want to start doing in your life for you, for the people that you love, and for the purpose that God has destined for you. So that is my invitation for you to do something for you, for your future you, that your future you will be so grateful because you made a decision to be uncomfortable, to get out of that comfort zone, to get out of that lane, to craft an emergency exit and go for the life that you want. So this is Soraya, and I am excited that you've been here because together we can help you design a life that you love.